Hey friends, I am Jen Ford. I'm a career coach. I am a natural born encourager and a collector of life lessons. I'm the author of the Wisdom in Mornings book series. And Kim Sorrelle and we just had a great conversation about life lessons, wisdom, sharing. Just stick around, hang out with us, and I hope you enjoy the conversation as much as I have.
Welcome to the show. I am so happy that you are here. You're going to be so happy that you are here. I am Kim Sorrelle. I'm a speaker. I'm an author. I get to do a lot of fun things in life, but my favorite thing to do is meet people, and I meet extraordinary, wonderful, incredible people. And then they want to be on my show, which is so great. And so today I have my new friend, Jen, and she is a rock star. You are going to love her. She is a wisdom dropper, and she is an author. She's written books, plural books, and they're all great. And so anyway, we're going to talk about resilience. We're going to talk about all kinds of things today, and she's going to drop wisdom like nuggets of gold, and I can't wait. So Jen, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Kim. I am so excited to be here. I've been following you for a while, and I am just so excited for this opportunity to have a conversation with you.
Yeah. I've so been looking forward to it. I told you before we went on air, I actually ordered two of your books, one for my daughter and one for my granddaughter. My granddaughter just entered college, and then my daughter just has to say goodbye to the granddaughter entering college. So anyway, great books, but you write about other stuff too. And so I so appreciate you. I really appreciate you. So before we really dive into it, I want people to know you. I want people
Okay.
to really get to know you. So I would like to hear about 8-year-old Jen.
8-year-old Jen. Well, good luck trying to find her because she, from sun up until sundown, was out of the house and gone. I was climbing trees and investigating, and I was all over the place. If there was a dog or a horse, I was there. So I was always exploring. I think that's maybe where I got my sense of adventure and my sense of talking to people, because I'd be out all day long and I would just meet people. I'd meet animals, I'd meet people, and I just wanted to engage with the world and anybody that was around me. So that's kind of where I was for many, many, many years.
Yeah, that's a great place to be. Did your parents have the same rule my parents had, that you had to come home when the streetlights went on?
Oh, well, we lived in the big scary house on the hill. It was like the house everybody was afraid of. So my parents had this huge farm bell, like one of those big dinner bells, and you would ring the bell, and that's when you would kind of hear and ignore it once or twice, and then you decide to go home.
Yeah. Yeah, well, a bell works too. Yes, bell, streetlights, however it is that you work your way back home, you get home eventually. So it sounds like a pretty great childhood.
It was a lot of fun. Absolutely a lot of fun.
Yeah. So when you were a kid, what did you dream of doing as an adult? And are you doing any part of that dream, kid dream?
That is such a great question. Because I don't think when I was really young, I thought about the future like that. I was so involved in what was going on here and now. When I got a little older, I thought, well, I wanted to be a veterinarian, or I wanted to work at a horse stable that did like therapeutic riding. And as I was listening to some of your podcasts, and I know this question was going to come up, I thought it finally dawned on me that I had this little dream as a kid about working at a therapeutic riding center. And when I went through this career implosion, I used to go, my girlfriend, we had horses together, and she kept hers. I got rid of mine. So I just play with her toys. So I would go out to the barn and just brush horses. And being around the horses is just my therapy. So I would go out and just brush horses for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it took. And I thought, it finally dawned on me. I was like, horse therapy, horse therapy. It kind of is in my life, maybe not in the way I thought as a kid, but there it is. It just literally dawned on me like in the last 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. But yes, and how great that you can do that. And there is such a thing. and it helps so many people. So yeah,
Yeah.
good for you. That's wonderful. Yeah. I'm a little afraid of horses, I gotta say. They're so big and they're afraid they're gonna kick me if I'm behind them or they're gonna step on my foot. I don't know. But I always wanted to be that girl, like in the Western outfit, jumping on the horse and just riding, in the prairie, I don't know,
Across
whatever.
the field, yelling and screaming, and
Yeah, exactly,
love
exactly.
it.
Yeah, so you get through school and then you meet somebody and then whatever, your life goes on, right?
Yes, it does. Yes,
Yeah,
it does. And then the twists and turns happen.
exactly, exactly. And family and the busyness of that and all the stuff. But you were in a great career. You had a job with a company that you loved.
I did. I did. I found myself, so I was that person who graduated high school on a Friday and I went to work in a full-time job on a Monday. So I skipped over the whole college thing, and I always worked for companies that did something good for people. I worked for an electric fencing company to keep your pets safe. I worked for a company that helped people meet each other. And then I landed in a job at a security company and I loved it. We use technology to catch bad guys. So we were just having such an impact on the community every day. It was investigations and high energy. It was a lot of fun, but it was super high stressful. So I was a director of a 24/7 command center, super high stress. And what happened? I had two colleagues pass away unexpectedly within 3 weeks of each other. So literally within a month, I was the last man standing, and we were all in super high stress, and I knew something had to give. So one thing led to another, and then 2 years later, I was unexpectedly departed from the company, and after 20 years, it was a gut punch, but I pretty quickly realized I felt more relief than sadness. I was sad for the people that I missed, but the stress and the pressure was gone, and it was pretty enlightening to feel like a kid again. Like, okay, where do I go now? What do I do now? But without a college degree in this market, oh my gosh! So bit of anxiety there, but the freedom to kind of figure out who I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, I love that. I love that that was your attitude. Because it can be more woe is me, and have your woe is me moment,
Yeah.
have that moment where you're like, you got to be kidding me. This company's gonna be lost without me. What are they thinking?
Right? I
Right?
know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
They
have
weren't.
that moment. Yeah, right. Exactly. But the sooner you can transfer that energy into, wow, the world's my
Yeah,
oyster. What am I gonna do? Like I can do whatever I want. Like, what is it going to be? Where am I going to land?
absolutely. And I gave myself the time to grieve, because it's definitely a grief process
Mm.
of I had my highs and my lows. I even got to the point where when I wanted to start moving forward, every time I saw that company on LinkedIn, it kind of pulled me backwards.
Mm.
So I quickly decided, I'm like, I need to like cut my ties with them on LinkedIn and stop seeing them, because it kind of kept me stuck in the past, like one foot in the past, one foot forward. And there's something I love to say. I always love to say that a feeling fully felt fades.
Yeah, say that
So a feeling fully felt fades.
again.
So if you're having that anxiety, like take a beat, stop, give yourself that time, go out and brush the ponies for a couple hours and like sit in those feelings and let it happen. And that kind of helped me at least get over that hump and put it in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, because there's other things involved, right? I mean, there's people counting on you. There's money. There's insurance. Whatever the pressures are, there are pressures there. I remember was early married, had a couple little ones running around, and my husband lost his job. I got him fired. Actually, I got him fired
Uh-oh.
because I know, but he called in sick from work. The only day ever he called in sick from work, and he was sick, like in the bathroom sick. And so I took the kids and left. I came home and he was gone. Because I thought, he'd be resting. It's quiet in the house. I came home and he wasn't even there. And so I called him at work, and sure enough, he was at work. I said, "What are you doing?" And so I somehow had to pick him up, whatever it was. And I walked in, his boss always would walk out and talk to me. And I said, Steve's never called in sick. He was really sick. And he said, "Well, we got a job to do here. We got work." I said, "Yeah, but I'm getting other people sick." And he really was. It's not like he made it up. And well, that Monday, he got called into the boss's office, and boss said, "Well, talking to your wife, I don't know that you're happy here." So yeah, I know.
Oh, wow.
And at first I was super supportive. I was like, "Oh, it's okay. They don't deserve you. You're better than that. Like, you'll get a job, no problem." And first day looking at the want ads, I mean, it was that long ago, right? And
Yeah.
looking at the jobs available, I'm like, "That's okay. We can do this and it's all right." Second day looking at the want ads, I'm like, "Have you called anybody? Have you sent out a resume?" Third day, I'm like, "Do you have a job?" Right? Like, there's this pressure of, oh my gosh, what do you do without a job? So here you are. Were you feeling that pressure?
I have a lovely husband. We've just been married 5 years. I was actually single mom for 25 years, something like that. From when my daughter was 6 months old, my son was two, up until when she graduated college. So I was single mom, and I had to be during those years. And that's why I was at that company for so long, climbing the ladder, promotion, yada yada, because I had to support my family. And then it just was so happened. I always told myself, and I just believe the universe works in really interesting ways. You put out what you need and why you need it, and it happens. It really does, because I always said, there's a hole in my heart for somebody, but I want to make sure my kids have my undivided attention. So maybe when they're grown, then maybe someone would drop in my lap. And darned if that didn't happen. Exactly. Like, my daughter was graduating college, and this crazy Brit dropped in my lap. I couldn't understand a word he said the first 2 weeks. I just kept saying, "Yes, yes, sounds good." And next thing you know, here we are. So we were in a good spot where he gave me the bandwidth to say, "You know what? Take your time, figure it out. Like, we can figure this out. We can economize places. We'll be okay." So I think I was lucky in that way, that I had not only the time to figure out what I wanted to do, um, but that's when I decided also, I've got this passion project. I call it Wisdom and Warnings. I've got this project that I just talk to people, and I learn things from them, and I scribble my notes down about, "Oh my gosh, that was really brilliant. She was really smart. He had a really great idea." Or, "Wow, he really fell on his face, but he got up." And I had this library of 8,000 bits of wisdom in my library. And I thought, with the advent of self-publishing, let me turn these collections into books, because I've got this library, and there's the collection of wisdom for the new college student, wisdom for the parent, wisdom for retirement, I'm working on now the unexpected caregiver. So I take these life milestones, and I just learn from other people. And I'm thinking, I think, what do they say, that a passion is what you love, but it turns to a purpose when you share it. And I was like, you know what? I'm sitting on all this amazing wisdom from just regular people. Like, you don't have to have an MBA or a PhD to be the smartest person in the room. Like, most of the smartest people I know have never stepped foot on a college campus. I just felt like this is just a waste if I sit on it. So I just started cranking out books, and got 4 of them out there, and 2 more coming, and another dozen or so after that.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. That is amazing. There are a lot of people who want to write a book, or say they want to write a book, or they have an idea for a book, and it never comes to fruition. So for you to sit down and go, "Man, I'm going to do this," be determined, and then do it, is absolutely incredible. Kudos to you. And how did you find the journey of writing and publishing and getting it out there for people?
Because I had the time to do the investigation, I dug in and I learned as much as I could. But the way the books are formatted, they're a bit of wisdom a day and then a little bit of insight. So I could talk on just about any topic anytime. So for me, it was pretty simple. I had the library of wisdom, and then I just had to write a little blurb about each nugget, and it went pretty quick. And then I just got in touch with a few groups of writers, women writers, self-published writers, through networking and connections. I call it connect working. I don't like to say networking; it's a dirty word. Through connect working, I just started meeting different people and sharing what my vision was and what my project was, how excited I was. And just the right people started popping up at the right times. Hey, you know what? You should talk to so and so. Or then they were like, oh, you know what? I know this great graphic designer and she could help you with this. And I found the perfect woman for my covers, and I found somebody on a consulting site to do my layouts, which I didn't like, so I taught myself how to do it. So yeah, I just kind of figured it out. And is it perfect? No. I look back at my first book and I see so many things that I want to do differently or fix. But there's the part of me that says, no, I want to leave it there because that was the starting point. And it's a bit messy, but it got done. And each one's getting a bit better. And I just sold my Badass Woman book to a nun at my last book signing.
I love it.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, that is so good. Yeah, yeah. It is quite a world that I'm an author, and it is quite a world, the whole book world, the whole publishing world, and it has changed dramatically.
Right.
I think about like Lucy Maud Montgomery, who wrote Anne of Green Gables and many other books. She had her manuscript typed in a hat box and would have to mail it to New York from Prince Edward Island. So it went
Wow.
boat to train to however it got there.
And planes, trains, and automobiles.
Exactly, wait, and then it would come back to her and with no, and then start the process all over again. So we're talking months, months, months. And she put it away for a while and thought, forget it. Nobody ever wants to publish it, and ran across it one day and said, let's try one more time. And she did. And we have Anne of Green Gables, and I love Anne of Green Gables. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the old days. That's what you had to do to publish a book. And now,
Yeah.
oh man, I've got this idea. I want to write a book, and you can self-publish. You can just
Right.
happen.
I don't have to wait for anybody's permission. I'm going to do this.
Right. Validation. Right.
Yeah, and I remember when I was working on my first one, there was someone in our sphere of people, and he basically told me, just don't even expect anything from this. It's really not going to turn into anything. And I had like that one moment's pause of, well, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And then I came home and I don't know what it was. I don't know what I saw or touched, or I opened up the file or something and I was like, dang it. No, 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 no. He doesn't get to tell me that. And I'm going to prove him wrong. And when I had my first book signing, I got to say the look on his face was pretty priceless. And it was, I'm not the person to rub something in. I just shared with him my contact name and the bookstore. And I said, maybe you should contact him and try and do your own. But it just felt so good to like believe in myself and figure it out.
Right. Well, and that's what your heart is not to keep these 8,000 bits of wisdom in a file in your desk, but to share them with the world, because they can help other people, because the impact they had on your life when you heard them. And now you want to get them out there to people. And this is just a great way to do it on a book, and you're doing it. So because of who you are, because that's your heart, is to help people. And so Oh my gosh, everybody needs to buy your books. They're so good. It's everything you write is so good, so well written, and I love the covers, love them. So your cover designer, fabulous. You know,
Props,
sometimes
props to
you can
Margaret
tell,
Coswell. She's
yeah,
awesome.
because sometimes there's a self-published look. You know, a book
Right.
can have. Yours do not have that at all. They're gorgeous, and the content is even better. So good for you. It's so good that you're doing it. So what have you found? Like, what is the most rewarding thing right now coming from doing this and making it work and helping people?
It's just the feeling like letting the genie out of the bottle. Like there are one story resonates with me so strongly about the college student. I don't know if I was in a conversation or I read something. It just these things come to me, and the woman was saying that her child went to college, and it's a bit of a sad story, but it's an amazing lesson. And her wisdom was, before your child goes to college, get a medical power of attorney in place, because unfortunately her child had an accident where he was on a ventilator and he couldn't communicate, and she had to get on a plane and get to him, and she couldn't focus on she couldn't focus on her child because she was jumping through all these legal hoops to be able to help direct his care. And just the story of it's like something you never think of, and it's so simple to put in place. And here's this mother who was just she just wanted to be there and love on her kid and just pray all over him and hold his hand and just not focus on anything else, and she couldn't do that. And my heart just broke for her, having to go through all that legal stuff. So that's something you need to share with people. It is You don't think about it.
Yeah, no, I've never heard that said before, ever. I've had
Right.
my kids are grown and now I've got grandkids going to college and I never would have thought of that, but it's so true because they're adults.
Yeah,
They're,
they're
they're
right
no
there.
longer kids where you're the one. Now you need
Mhm.
a document. Now you need a piece of paper that says you're.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, that's great advice. That it really is incredible advice. And like you said, very easy to do. I mean, you download
Mhm.
it from on the internet for goodness sake, and there you go. You have it and get it into place. It's not that hard to do.
Right. It's not that hard.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, well, okay. So people give people advice all the time, right? And
Mhm.
and some people were telling you their best advice and whatever, and just in regular conversation. The difference though with you is that you wrote them down and you
Mhm.
remembered that advice and you took it to heart. And I can tell you that I've been given lots of advice over the years, some unsolicited, some I want to hear. And I kind of wish I would have written them all down. Like what a genius thing to do. But thank you for doing it so I don't have to.
Yeah, there you go. Just don't
Yeah.
keep them on a spreadsheet.
Yeah. So at the beginning, when you started, because 8,000, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. 8,000. So when you first started writing these things down, what was your thought process then?
The process was, I just like to organize things.
Yeah.
I like things nice, neat, and tidy. And I would scribble things on pieces of paper, or I would put a note in my phone, send a text message to myself. Or, back when I started, we didn't have cell phones. But so I had little scraps of paper everywhere. You open up a drawer and there'd just be pieces of paper everywhere. And I just couldn't stand the mess. So I said, I have to kind of make this orderly. So I had a journal book and I wrote them all down. But then I thought, but then the life milestone categories came to mind, because I'm like, well, this was wisdom for divorce because I went through a very successful divorce. We're all friendly now. And I'm like, that's the way it should all be. But that divorce wisdom really applies to engagement and marriage. Don't you want to know about that ahead of time? So then I started thinking about all these. Every time a life milestone happened, I'm like learning all the wisdom from other people and conversations. And I was like, well, this applies to this, this, and this spreadsheet. So
Yeah.
that I can have my wisdom and I can say what collections they go in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know. So nice. So nice we have these tools, right?
yes.
that we can just plug into and run with and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, so great wisdom. I'd love to hear some more. Like, so with the divorce is tough, and everybody probably knows people who they are talking still to their ex, and other people who, would like their ex to just jump off a cliff or something. And and I always think, especially for the kids' sake, to try to
Yeah.
make it as friendly as you possibly can, even though you're separating. And there's pain involved, right? It's the loss of a
Yeah.
dream. You grieve the loss of your marriage. And so what are some words of wisdom you have for people going through that?
Whew. So if we're going for through, if you're on the front end of it, someone told me once, before you declare divorce, you speak the words, you file the papers, decide how you want a divorce. Do you want a divorce amicably? Are you looking for a fight? Like, think about those things ahead of time. And that's really the first chapter in the Divorce Myth to Happiness book, is all about like preparing, doing your investigation, learning about the different types of divorce, like learning about the process, talking to people, because investigation doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just means that you're educated and you're ready. And then when you finally do pull the trigger and you file the papers, realize that you're already 5 steps down that road and your spouse is just starting. So they're in a very different place than you are. And so many people get angry that, well, why are they acting like that? Well, because they're just starting the process and they may not have wanted it. So there's so much wisdom around, acting on your goals, not your emotions, realizing you don't need the pit bull attorney. There is mediation that can happen. It doesn't matter who gets the big TV. Seriously, it doesn't. There's wisdom about spin up a new email address that you only use for all of your divorce proceedings that nobody else knows about. Making copies of all your important papers and then moving them off site, keeping them somewhere else. And then you need a tribe of people. Seriously, you need to identify a tribe. You need somebody from the legal perspective, somebody from the financial perspective, a counselor, because your best friend, you can vent to her, but she's not a therapist. So there's things that you should do on the front end to prepare for it. And then, in the middle of it, someone once told me, like, I don't remember details of a lot of the stories. The wisdom is what always sticks to me. And they said salt water. Salt water is your cure. I'm like, what are you talking about? Am I gargling? And she's like, no, salt water. Either the ocean or tears. Either cry or go to the beach. It's going to solve everything for you.
I like that.
Like, brilliant. And then when it came
to
to
t-shirt. Yeah.
I know, she must have been. And then, like, when it comes to the kids, your child is not your therapist. Don't talk to your kids about any of that. Not even when they're in the house, because little kids have really big ears. My mom always said, little pitchers have big ears. And because they will hear, and, cry in private. Don't like wash your emotions all over them. Another good one is, co-parenting is not a competition, it's collaboration. And they're not going to do it the same way that you do it. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just different. And if you did everything the same, would you really be getting divorced anyway? Yeah. And there's only so much you can control. So give them the stability and schedule at your house. And you can try and be collaborative and have some consistency. But, in the end, they're going to do it different. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just going to be different. And they'll adapt. If you're happy, I think one of the success, I always drew my success with my kids if they were happy to go and they were happy to come home. And as long as they were happy in both camps, fine by me. He did things differently. And they came home A-okay and happy. All I care about.
Good point. Yeah. So your way is not the only way.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So let people be. Okay, so great. Those are all great words of wisdom. So now I have this granddaughter who just went off to college. And I wanted to, as I'm driving her the 3 hours away, which praise the Lord is not farther away than that, so she's not that far away. But as I'm driving her with all her stuff, because her mom's out of town, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what words of wisdom can I give this girl who's just starting this thing? Like, I didn't have your book, and I wish I would have at the moment, but the only words of wisdom I could think of at the time is, it's illegal to drink when you're under 21. So it's illegal. Like, that's what you stand on. If somebody wants you to drink, you just say it's against the law and you'll lose your scholarship. So don't do it. That was that was all the words of wisdom I had. That was it.
Well, that's a good one. That's absolutely a good one.
That's all I got out. But yeah, so what kind of wisdom do you have for college students?
For the college student, there's so much, but everything from acclimating to college life, don't stay in your dorm, go out and be with around people, try different things, dabble in everything until you find something that's special. Drop into lectures that are outside of your major, because you have no idea where your heart might lead you. There's the best seat in the lecture hall is on the aisle. And P.S., you don't have to ask for permission to go to the bathroom anymore. Yippee! I always like to say, and sign up for your classes and for tutoring right away. So many kids will wait because they're still thinking about it, and then they get the crappy class at 8 a.m. that they never get up for, and they fail, have to take over again. Or they get halfway through the semester and think they need tutoring and they can't get it. So, jump on those things. I always, packing, take half the clothes, twice the underwear. That's a good one, right?
That's a good one. Yes. Yeah.
And communication with your parents. Like, before you leave for college, sit down and have an adult conversation on what to expect for communication. Like, and come to an agreement. Like, let's do a proof of life call once a week on a Sunday afternoon. And that way, if you both know what to expect, then you don't have mom sitting there worrying about you. You know that Sunday's coming. But then leave room for flexibility, that it might not happen. And let's give each other some grace. And another great one is, kids tend to call their parents and vent when they're really sad or upset, but to go back and call them when you're feeling better. Because when you're at college and you vent, this is so frustrating, my roommate's just not, I'm having a hard time with my roommate, yada, yada, yada. And then you go off and you fix it and you guys are happy. The parent is still sitting in the anxiety from that phone call. So make sure that you call him back and say, hey, thanks for listening. I worked it all out. Appreciate your advice. It's all good now. So it kind of takes the anxiety off the parents. Another awesome thing to do. This is like the brilliant hack for the child. Your parents are going to be anxious before you leave, right? And they're going to be, when you leave, they're going to be in a state of, they're going to start a new chapter. So if you the college student, start something with them, a pickleball league, a bocce ball league, whatever it is, something that is a group event that you do with your parent and other couples or other people, then when you go to college, they still have that ecosystem of people that are watching out for them. They know that the child's gone to college, and that group of people are going to be the ones that are expecting mom or dad to show up at bocce ball on Wednesday night. And they're going to be checking in. So that college student can build that safety net for their parent. And it's just a very brilliant head nod. I love that one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that. What a great
Isn't that cool?
And the parents don't even know you're doing it.
They don't even know you're doing it.
You're setting them up for success, and they don't even know.
Getting them out of the house. Absolutely.
That's so good. That is so good. And the whole empty nest thing, right? Like women, I think it seems to be a thing more for women than men. I'm sure men go through it as well. But when you've put your heart and soul, you basically, in so many ways, you put your life on hold.
Yeah.
To raise your kids, right? Because you have to focus on them. You just have to. You might work and you might have a career, you might have all that, but
Mhm.
you're not traveling every weekend, or you're not going out with your friends every night, but whatever you would be doing or could be doing if you were alone. And
Mhm.
so I remember my mom, I have two older brothers and we're all 12 months apart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Irish triplets, I think they call that. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. And so we graduated all three in a row. And my mom struggled, man. And she had friends and whatever, but man, she struggled with the whole empty nest. I was the opposite. Like I was doing the dance of joy. Like I love my kids, but you raise them so that they're independent. And I was excited to just be me and my husband. And
Right, right.
remembered my mom being so unhappy and thought, God, am I supposed to be unhappy? Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? I missed him, but, I knew I'd see him again. So where is the happy medium, or what is the advice that you have for dealing with that? Like, how do you prepare for it? Or how do you deal with your whole household is going to change in a day when you drop the.
Yeah. Well, and I think the wisdom there is to try and ease into it as you approach. Like those months before they leave, if if you can start a little bit at a time, so you're not hit with this tsunami at the end, and acknowledge how acknowledge the role that you played in getting them to this point and let them teach you something. I think when your adult kid teaches you something, you see them in a different light. You see them as, wow, I did a good job. They're really smart. And it gives you a sense of comfort that, they are a smart person. So encouraging things like that. Talking to people that are a couple years ahead, like you are right there in the freshman thing. Go find somebody who's a couple of years ahead, and maybe not even a friend, somebody that who is a little more distant. It's an acquaintance. So because when you're with friends, you tend to commiserate more. But if you're not quite so tight, it can be a little bit more subjective. Of course, journaling and all those great fun steps, but there's also there was one bit in the Let Them Fly book. There was a woman who, she liked her wine, and she sat down and had wine every single night. And then her son came home for break and looked at the recycle bin and was like, "Mom, what is going on?" And that was her slap in the face that, oh, I think I've gone a little too far. So, trying to find some of those healthy outlets, a walking club, a pickleball league, whatever it is, writing your book. And then those touch points, those proof of life calls, make them intentional. I felt so bad for one lady that was referenced in the Let Them Fly book. She didn't want to be overly, she didn't want to ask too many deep questions. She didn't want her daughter to feel like she was bugging into her life. So she didn't ask a whole lot of deep probing questions. She figured if the daughter wanted to share, she would. And it was years later when the daughter finally said, I felt like you didn't care because you never asked me about, whatever, it was my club sport or whatever. So there's that happy medium of ask some curious questions and let the child decide how far they want to go.
Yeah, good point. That is a really good point. Yeah, I because you want them to have their independence, but you also want to know what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
And like I have a friend who's in between places and she's staying with me right now. And her son is also in a summer program. And so he already just graduated high school, already left for college. And there's, what is the app? It's like something 360 where you know where your other people are all the time.
Oh
Yeah,
boy. Yeah.
I know. And I think
Oh, cut that off. Cut that off.
it gives you some peace of mind.
Consider cutting that off.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know, but I think it can be so hard to
yeah.
cut that apron string, right? Like you've been doing it the whole time they're in high school, watching where are they? Where are they? And I don't know. Sometimes it's okay to not know.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Because they're adults. And you aren't going to be tracking your adult kids. And sometimes, like, again, start little bits, little bits,
Mhm.
little bits.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you don't want to know too. I mean, you hope your kid's doing great, not doing anything they shouldn't be doing, whatever, but really it's on them. At that
Yeah.
point, it's on them. And so all those years of child rearing, hopefully you've given them enough wisdom that they have good boundaries, that they
Mhm.
understand what they want to do, what they want to accomplish, and whatever, and what to avoid that can get them in trouble. And so
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, and they have weekends. They're away at college,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you're like, great, they're busy all week.
Yep.
They're busy. They're going to class. They're studying, but they got the weekend.
Yep.
So following them around maybe could be a little tough, I think.
It could be. And that's why those months before they leave are so important. And that's when you can start backing off. Back off the watching where they are, or give them some more responsibility. Like, you know what, this summer you're getting the oil changed in the cars. Go figure it out. Go make the phone calls and start like giving them some more real world responsibility, because that also demonstrates that they are adults. And if
Mhm.
they mess up, they're still under your roof and you can help them figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so another book.
Yes.
Maybe you have this wisdom in the Let Them Fly book, but uh, one thing that I remember struggling with is after they leave, they come home. And they come home and they're not the same person
Right.
when they left. And they had a curfew when they lived with you. And they had to do dishes, they had to do their own laundry, whatever the rules were. And then all of a sudden they have this independence where it's up to them whether or not the dishes or laundry gets done.
Mhm.
Nobody's there telling them to do it. And nobody's telling them they have to be home by a certain time.
Right.
And so how do you handle that? What's the wisdom there?
So there is, again, having adult conversations, like, and in advance of when they come home. So, well, one thing before you even have that conversation, for the college students, if you have made a major change to your appearance, give your parents a heads up before you get home. If you dye your hair pink, or you got a nose ring or a big old tattoo, let them know before you walk in the front door. Um,
Good idea. Very good idea. Yes.
but there's the student can take the lead with that. The parents will have more respect when the college student has the maturity to say, I'm coming home for Christmas break. Let's talk about boundaries. Let's talk about what that's going to look like. I'm used to having no curfew. I will be in by 2 a.m. or something like that. Just having those conversations ahead of time, as opposed to when they do come home, the parent laying down the rules and this is my house and you're going to do it my way. It's you know what? Let's have a conversation before, let's have a Zoom call before you get home. And let's just talk it through and asking questions as opposed to laying down the law. Like, how do you see this happening, Johnny? And here's where my concerns are. Here's how I envision it, and seeing if you can come up with that balance. And, okay, so what are the most important things on your list? No curfew. And the biggest thing on my list is, no dirty dishes in the sink or whatever it is. So prioritize, like, okay, what are your expectations? Here's your lists. And what are the priorities? What's most important? And, then come up with a shorter list of what you can both live with. And know that, because you never want to get to the point where you say, this is my house, you do it my way, or because they won't come home then.
Mhm. Right,
And
right.
you don't want that.
Gosh, that's so wise. That really is so wise. I think knowing that it's gonna happen,
Mhm.
right? Knowing that there's gonna be some changes in the way they've been living and then coming home and your expectations being the same as they were the day they left.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of key too, right? Like you just know that there could be some changes. So we have that conversation ahead of time makes so much sense. That is so wise. Like Just talk about it. Have a Zoom.
Yeah,
Then you know if their hair turned pink, right? Like
right.
look at them and see. So yeah,
And
yeah.
if they're bringing home a special friend,
Oh,
that's a biggie one too. Like have that conversation, just the parent and the child ahead of time. Okay, I'm bringing my boyfriend home with me for Thanksgiving. Let's talk about what are the sleeping arrangements going to be? Because in actuality, that boyfriend may be staying at the apartment with the girlfriend. And but when you come home, mom and dad aren't comfortable with that. But having that conversation ahead of time with just parent and child, because if daughter and her boyfriend come home and surprise, we want to sleep together in the same room, and mom and dad are like, ixnay, that's one of my hard passes. Having that argument in front of the boyfriend or girlfriend, it's going to it likely will cause this anxiety and chaos and drama that your child may not come home after that. They may stay at college for the other holidays. So, even if the child doesn't bring it up, the parent can always say, hey, Christmas is in 2 weeks. Let's have a call and let's talk about, are there any big changes? Let's have a conversation so there's no surprises.
Yeah, yeah, that makes so much sense. Well, and they can see if your hair turned pink while they were
Yeah.
gone. Yeah,
Turn your video on.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, so we're women, you and me, and we know that we don't always do the woman thing right. Like there can be times when we go, man, maybe we should have handled that a different way or whatever. What is your advice? What's your wisdom for women? Like, where do you see women making mistakes that they could avoid that could save them a lot of heartache, or uh, at work or at home or whatever? Just what do you see?
There's so much about that. Someone had told me once when I was feeling a little less than. She said to me, she's like, your worth is not debatable. And I had to sit in that for a minute, and I'm like, wait a minute, okay. Um, and I love that because so many of us undercut ourselves, and we have to remember that there's all these expectations that people put on us, but I think we put more expectations on ourselves to compare ourselves to other people. And you got to cut yourself some slack. You really, really do. And it's all about you. Like I look at the past bit of my life, like since that career imploded, and am I being? I think some people look at what I'm doing now as a bit irresponsible because I didn't go back and get a full-time job and the salary and blah 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 blah. But you know what? Every day that I pick up my books or I sit on someone's podcast and I have an amazing conversation, it feels so good. And you have to like acknowledge when something feels right, don't bypass that. Like write it, if you have to write it down, and this is another thing even for the college student, it's like, what is the high point? What is the low point? What is the new point? Every week, high, low, new. And just look at that. And, you know, I think we all get too busy building other people's dreams up that we forget about our own. So I think there's a really important part of our lives when we take a pause. And even if it's 20 minutes a week, or if you get up a little bit earlier and you go for a walk in the morning and you just be with yourself and and kind of get back in touch with what's important to you and what your dreams are. And yeah, you don't have to ignore your family, but you can take steps every day, every week that get you a little bit closer. And it's nothing you should be ashamed of or feel guilty for, because 9 times out of 10, you're encouraging your partner or others to go follow their dreams as well. You're just doing the same for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. And I think that that can be a real struggle with women forgetting what your dreams are, forgetting even the things you love to do. What did I love to do that now I have time to do? What were those things? I love to knit. Why don't I ever knit? Or what?
Right.
Because you're caught up in the busyness of the whole family thing. And now maybe you have a minute to breathe. And so what are you going to do? And trying to remember, what is it that I like? What do
You're
I
going
like?
to dabble in everything until you find something special.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. like if somebody's looking for something to do, I can tell them one of the most fun things that I love that I would do with my grandkids and still have young enough grandkids to do this with, is turn on a Bob Ross video on YouTube and have all the paints out and the canvas and whatever, and just follow along with Bob. It is so fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it puts you in a whole different place. Like, you're not thinking about anything else and you're just having fun together. And who cares how it turns out? Probably not going to look like Bob's, but if it does, go you. But it's just fun to get your creativity out a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and enjoy.
We did a paint your pet. One of the local, like the little painting studios that have been popping up, they have a paint your pet where you send them a picture of your pet and they put it as like a grayscale on a canvas. And then you go to the class and they walk you through painting your pet.
Wow.
And it is amazing how they come out. And we did a group with, I think, like 10 people. And it was just so much fun. Because you just showed up, all the mess was at their place. They had all the paints, all the this, the that, and you walked away with your pet. It was so much fun.
So fun. That sounds so fun. I love that idea. That is such a great idea. Yeah, yeah. And you end up with the end product that you end up with. And, good for you if it ends up looking like a dog. If not, well, it's okay. The garage needs pictures too, I guess. But
exactly.
Yeah. So it's all good. Yeah. So of all these nuggets of wisdom, of all the things that you've learned from so many people, what are a couple that just stick with you that are like the earworm that comes up from time to time? What are those?
My favorite one. This came from I got it in the mail when I was like 18 years old. I can't remember what I ordered, but this little sign came and it said, "Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out."
Say it again. Say it again.
So things turn out best for the people who make the best of how things turn out.
That's so good.
So I absolutely love that. I have it. It's actually hanging up on my desk, and I've had that forever because you just make the best out of the situation. Because people always say, "What? How are you so lucky?" I'm like, it's just because I just choose to see the positive in things. I also like to be the tall poppy. Like, be that tall poppy and stand out. Don't be afraid of being a little bit different. I love that. I tell that to all my career coaching clients. Like, be the tall poppy, stand out. It's okay. Follow your heart, but take your brain with you. I love that one. And be curious and talk to people. They don't bite. I talk to people everywhere, and no one's bit me yet. So
if they're under 2, you might get bit in a while, but
they're not people, they're kids.
Yeah, there you go.
They're little animals. Yeah, it's just be curious and just ask probing questions. People love to talk about themselves and just ask questions.
And then listen.
Yeah. So Kim, what are 2 pieces of wisdom that has stuck with you?
Oh, wow. That's a good question, Jen. My dad was a businessman, very successful. The best businessman I've ever known. He was so good and he loved people. He treated employees right. He treated clients right. Like, I learned so much from him. And one of the things that he said that has nothing to do with anything really, but is in my head sometimes in business in particular, is watch the pennies and the dollars watch themselves.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is also true in your home, right? In your home budget. Watch the pennies and the dollars watch themselves. So if you're nickel and diming everything and you're going to Starbucks and you're, spending little money and you're going, "Guy, it's only $5. Well, those $5 add up, right? And then when it comes time to get that new big TV,
right?
Because, now
you lost it in the divorce, and it wasn't a problem, and now you need one.
The big new one. You're wondering where all the dollars went. And so anyway, yeah, watch the pennies and the dollars watch themselves. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to add, if you don't mind, I would love to add that to the entrepreneur collection.
Please do. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how the wisdom library grows.
Yes, use it. Absolutely, for sure, for sure. And one piece of advice that I give that I think is seems helpful to people, or at least they tell me it is that give yourself grace. Give yourself grace to change, grace to evolve, grace for your thoughts to change, grace for your beliefs to change and evolve. And give yourself that grace. Realize you're not the same person at 20 than you are at 30, that you are at 40, that you are at 50, 60. Give yourself the grace. And as you do, give yourself that grace, extend it to others.
Love that. And especially when you fall flat on your face.
Mhm.
Like, give yourself the grace that it's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up. I
Right.
love that.
Yeah.
Good ones, Kim.
Oh, there's plenty more where that came from.
We could go on forever, but this is only a
Yeah.
1 hour show.
Yeah. I read this book several years ago that was an older book when I read it, and it's called Codependent No More.
Okay.
And codependent relationships are not healthy relationships. And the biggest thing that I got out of that book is when it talked about unsolicited advice.
Mhm.
Solicited advice. And man, I was the queen of giving unsolicited advice. If anybody ever came to me and they had some sort of issue, I'm like, well, all you got to do is this and this and this and this. And then when they didn't follow my unsolicited advice, I'd be like, well, of course you're in the same situation, right? But sometimes your college kid just needs to vent. And
Yeah.
sometimes your wife, your husband just needs to vent, and they're not looking for advice. And so, how do you feel about unsolicited advice?
Smile and then do what you know is right in your heart.
Mhm.
And when you want to vent, whether it's to your kid or your husband or your spouse, your partner, preface it with, I need to vent. I don't need you to fix this. I just need you to listen. And if you
Mhm.
say that ahead of time, it puts them in the right frame of mind to know what you're expecting.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's such good advice. Oh my gosh, that is so good, because I do that with my 42-year-old daughter. I
Mhm.
just, when she comes and just wants to vent, I'm like, well, all you have to do is, or whatever. And she's like,
She's like, wait.
Mom, I don't want to hear it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what, that's one of the reasons why I love doing these wisdom and mornings books, because it's one nugget of wisdom a day. I always joked around and said, I love these because I love to tell people what to do in a non-threatening way. So it's like, here, I love you so much. You're going through a hard time. Here, I love you. And they can read it or they could not. They can do it at their own pace. And it's just so fun how, I'll pick up the Badass Woman book every now and I'll play roulette. I'll just open the book up to a follow your heart will lead to a most excellent life. Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
I just like
good.
to pick it
That's
up
so
and go on a day.
good. Yeah, exactly. That makes so much sense. Yeah, and I want to encourage everybody out there. The books are great, chock full of incredible advice. Like some of the stuff that we talked about today, I've never heard before. Sometimes you think, I've heard all the wisdom. No, no, there's
No.
more. There's always more. And if you know somebody whose kid is flying the coop,
Yeah.
let them fly. Buy them that book. And I always think about this too, Jen, is that the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours it takes to write and put a book together, and everything that it takes. We authors, we don't get paid anything.
Nope.
Like our hourly rate is
It's
some
labor of
euro
love.
sometimes. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. So uh it is cheap to buy a book for $15 or however much and
Yeah.
send it to somebody. What a great gift, to open your mail and somebody thought of you and sent you this book. And
Yeah,
so,
a little handwritten note. Hey, I'm thinking of you.
right,
And
right.
with the book. And it's just, if even if they never crack the book open, just knowing that someone thought of me in this difficult time and sent me this thing. And it's just a lovely, easy way to show that you care, especially when going through the unexpected caregiver book. That's the one I'm doing happily ever after for engagement and marriage relationship, but also unexpected caregiver, because my brother was the first one. How did we do this? We dodged the cancer bullet until my brother just 2 years ago. And watching how her life upheaved when she was going through that. And it was just unexpected. She had no choice in it. She was just thrown into this season of life. And they're in North Carolina, we're in Pennsylvania. We weren't there. And you wanted to do something. You wanted to show that you cared. And, you know, a HelloFresh gift card only goes so far. So that's kind of why the Unexpected Caregiver collection came up, because it's just a way to show that you care. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. And then you want things to go well as the best that they
exactly.
possibly can under
Yeah,
tough circumstances. So yeah, it's so good.
yeah.
So good. Oh my gosh, I love it. Buy the book, send them right from Amazon. Click the little gift, whatever it says,
A little itsy thing.
whatever,
Yeah,
and then write a little note right there. Like you don't have to go to the mailbox. You don't have to do anything. They'll send it right to the address that you've given them.
done.
So easy. So
Yeah,
anyway, Jen, this has been an absolute pleasure. The time has just flown by. Thank you so much for being here today.
been fun. It's been a great conversation. I've loved it.
Yeah, so fun, so fun. All right, so everybody out there, thank you for joining us. And I just pray that until we see each other again, that you keep your heart open and you live your love loud.